sarcasm waiting for you. I'm willing to trade my soul for a bit of your charm. There's no way I'll fade into oblivion, 'cause I'll keep shining over you all. And if your wings entwining, you better face the fall, keep trying again. Oh yeah, keep trying again. There's mud on the floor, desperate people trying to get through the door, although the room's already crowded. But I'll keep shining over you all. And if your wings entwining, you better face the fall, keep trying again. Oh yeah, keep trying again. Zeros, everybody's trying to be heroes, when all they have to say to be okay is I don't know. And keep trying again. I'll keep shining over you all. With your wings entwining, you better face the fall. Zeros, everybody's trying to be heroes, when all they have to say to be okay is I don't know. Are you okay? I'm not that sure. Forever young, or am I faking? On the tip of my tongue, there's a sarcasm waiting for you. I'm willing to trade my soul for a bit of your charm. There's no way I'll fade into oblivion, 'cause I'll keep shining over you all. And if your wings entwining, you better face the fall, keep trying again. Oh yeah, keep trying again. There's mud on the floor, desperate people trying to get through the door, although the room's already crowded. But I'll keep shining over you all. And if your wings entwining, you better face the fall, keep trying again. Oh yeah, keep trying again. Zeros, everybody's trying to be heroes, when all they have to say to be okay is I don't know. And keep trying again. shining over you all with your wings entwining. You better face the fall. Zero. Everybody's trying to be heroes when all they have to say to be okay is I don't know. Are you okay? I'm not that sure.
fans, this is Paul Page, the voice of IndyCar. And today we're excited to present another IndyCar event brought to you by the Dark Horse IndyCar Series. From the Unzers to Mears, Foyt, and Andretti, now it's Corley, Peterson, Davies, Gardner, and Teague. You can expect high speed, incredible wheel-to-wheel action, and intense drama that you only get in an IndyCar. So sit back and enjoy your favorite drivers from all over the world take the track. Dark Horse IndyCar drivers, start your race.
Hello and welcome to Texas. Sorry for the technical issues. We have seemed to have figured them out. And you see that we're green flag racing right now with race leader Jacob Barkowski and Daniel Nanny right behind him in the second spot. We have some good racing up here in the front, up around the third spot as well. Just saw some 3-wide racing on your screen right before we started talking right here. I'm here in the booth with Elliot Henderson today, Mr. Bobby Carter. Should be a lot of fun. The Patti Engineering 200 here today. Starting on the pole today was Daniel Nanny, who's currently in the second spot.
Yeah, we had Jacob Barkowski jump out to an early lead here. Couple stories to note as we get caught up. We've got Jake Miller serving a penalty from last race where he caused an incident at Charlotte with Matthew Durr towards the end of that one. So a black flag penalty that he had to serve at the beginning. It does, I believe he may or may not be a lap down. I think he's still on the lead lap here, so he's good to go. On top of that, Hunter Madalinas, the guy who's dominated this series all season, started about 14th, 15th place. We're trying to catch up, see where he's running. He's about 13th right now, working his way up through the field. So just two quick stories to follow up on right there to start the race. Otherwise, your standard guys are running up front. Jacob Barkowski making another start, just his second start here in the Truck Series. Finished third at Kansas, I believe in season 2 or 3. I'm not quite sure exactly the last time he ran, but making a very valiant effort here today. Started second, running first, followed by Daniel Nanny, Hunter Brittle in third, RJ Williams, and Jackson Hartman, a guy who we don't talk about very much, running top 5, comes from CDRA Motorsport Drop Series. I'm sorry if I messed that one up. Super Truck Series over there, part of the Court Racing Division. Nice to see him over here running top 5, trying to track down RJ Williams for 4th.
There's some good racing here early. Things have already calmed down a little bit. Those first couple laps after that start of the race was definitely some intense racing, but like I just said, things have calmed down a little bit. We're expecting pit stops maybe around lap 35 to 40, we're thinking here today. So it should be an interesting one. Texas can come down to strategy at points.
Yeah, we did change up the setup for tonight. It's a little bit looser.
Caution's out on the speedway. The first caution of the day.
It looks like Will Reichert is our first unfortunate incident here. So Jake Miller be able to stay on the lead lap here. Lewis Woodall is back there with him. I believe Lewis may have served a black flag as well. I wasn't aware that that was a thing, but him and Jake Miller are together. They'll stay on the lead lap, file in behind Will here, as you see on the screen. And we'll have our first caution here on lap 7.
First caution here of the day. Should be a interesting one. I'm hoping we can keep it green for the most part after that. All right, the car getting up in the wall and just getting hooked onto the wall. Look like Tony Hawk Pro Skater right there.
Yeah, unfortunate for Will. I believe it's going to do some serious engine damage to him. Really weird how he just kind of got stuck on the wall and couldn't get off of it, and then eventually got hooked to it right there around turn 1 that eventually brought out the yellow. Wish he could have gotten off it, but seems iRacing C didn't play nice there with that wall contact, and he unfortunately was hurt in the end, but he'll bring it down pit road, try to get that thing repaired and get back out. The unfortunate side is Texas is very wide open with these trucks because of the package that they have here, the horsepower with the downforce that they have. The trucks are essentially wide open in 3 and 4. They're lifting in 1 and 2 a good bit, but because you're wide open for 3/4 of this track, Kyle, like having any type of damage with this truck is not going to help you, both aero wise and just overall power wise. So trying to keep your truck clean today is probably going to be the biggest thing for a lot of these guys. Make sure that they don't sit here and scrub the wall off the corner and make any type of contact. Tires will probably become a factor eventually, but much later in the run as opposed to early on, as I believe we do have pit stops here under this caution. Unless that's just on me. I believe most of the back half of the field decided to come in around like Jake Miller and Ross Brockman and those guys that were running towards the rear of the field, potentially just topping off fuel and seeing what they could do tire-wise. I'm not sure on the set of tires that they had tonight, but regardless, we've got 125 laps here tonight. Tires shouldn't play a huge factor, and we should just see these guys be able to run pretty strong here throughout the whole race.
Elliot, you were mentioning about damage and how it could affect your truck. I would say a good 90%, maybe 90, even 95% of the schedule, you can get a little bit of damage on your truck and you're going to be perfectly fine. These trucks are really good and they can withstand a little bit of damage without slowing you down too much. But a track like Texas, that little bit of damage, that's going to kill you. Because like you were saying, you go flat out through 3 and 4. This is basically a super speedway almost. This is... anytime you get any damage, it's just going to really destroy your race here.
Yeah, these guys, again, are completely wide open through 3 and 4. Even with draft, I'm sure. It gets tight, though, so you know that's obviously what happened to Will there. The truck just ultimately got tight. He caught the wall off of turn 4. We're going to see the same stuff in 1 and 2 as they double file and get ready to go this time around. But yeah, at a lot of tracks, like Kyle said, like these trucks are very wide open and they're very susceptible to that aerodynamic damage that may occur, and that's going to hinder you very much so. So trying to keep the truck clean is going to be the first priority. The second thing is trying to work your way up through the field. And as we get ready to go for this restart down the backstretch, nothing really changed up front. You've still got Jacob Bransky, followed by Daniel Nanny, Hunter Brittle, RJ Williams, and Jackson Hartman in your top 5. Quick note, though, Justin Mond's sitting there in, I believe, 7th spot. I think he's going to be a guy towards the end of the race that we're going to want to look at. He's had some very bad luck this season, but, man, he is a fast truck every week. Keep an eye on that 39.
We're going to go green flag racing this time by. You see Jacob Bransky has chosen the inside lane, which will put Nanny up high. Brittle right behind him in 3rd place. The pace car pulls off down pit road. We're going to go green flag for our first restart of the day, and Bransky gets off to a good one, gets a good gap on Nanny and Brittle. RJ Williams got off to a great restart, but nowhere to go for the 21, and here comes Barkowski, and they're going to make it 3 wide going into turns 1 and 2.
So that turn 1 being flat like that gives you a chance to do what Barkowski did. You can get aggressive because it doesn't look like there's a lane down there, but you can make it. Brandon made it. Hunter looked to maybe want to go back 3 wide, didn't do it. So Barkowski and RJ will battle for 3rd. Brittle back to 5th through that.
Barkowski needs to win a race to get himself into the playoffs, and a good move there on the beginning of the restart, getting himself some spots. And then you see right back here, Jackson Hartman. He's doing well here tonight. He's looking real good in that number 26 machine. He's trying to clear Brittle off the corner, but Brittle's still right there at his quarter panel. He's not going to quite clear him yet. And now here comes William Barbagelata in the number 27 right behind him.
Yeah, all the usual faces up front here, even just behind Barb. You've got Shane Nicewanger, Hunter Madalinas to round out your top 10 in 9th and 10th. These guys all trying to fight, trying to gain those extra points and maybe see where they can slot themselves in the playoffs. But right now it's all Jacob Bransky and Daniel Nanny out front. Definitely not opposed to this type of situation. They're just going to sit here and ride and see how far they can stretch this fuel out now.
You see Shane Neiswanger completing a pass on Hunter Madalinas, but Madalinas not giving up that easy. He's trying to stick his nose back up high, but it's not going to work. Neiswanger making some moves here early, trying to get himself up towards the front after starting 17th. He's already moved up to the 9th spot. Great start from Shane Neiswanger.
Here comes Mons, 3 wide to the inside under Barb. Didn't think that was going to work. He backed out of it as Barb looked to the inside of the 26 of Jackson Hartman. And Barb will try to complete that pass, but that outside lane off of 2 really seems to give you some momentum in these trucks. It's hard to kind of get that momentum up off the bottom. You're going to need a push from behind or maybe some type of draft. Barb hits the inside lane there, hits that line through 3 and 4, washes up a little bit. Jackson's going to get another run off the corner, so Barb's going to try to make that work, but here comes Justin Moss to the outside with Shane Neiswanger right behind him. This is a 4-way battle for about that 6th spot.
This is a great battle going on right here. William Barbagelato wants the spot on the inside from Jackson Hartman, but Hartman's not giving it up that easy. And Justin Mons has a lot of speed up top. He's going to try to force his way in between Neiswanger and Barbagelato, and it works. Mons right behind Barbagelato. Here he comes off the corner. He might make it 3 wide. He's peaking low.
He got what he wanted there. He didn't have the run, though. He got stuck behind Barb. He's going to just try to force Barb through the situation. He looks 3 wide anyway. Barb will clear Jackson on the inside. Mons to the inside of Barb, and they're side by side for that 6th spot. Move Mons up to 6th from about the 7th or 8th spot that time by.
Justin Mons putting on a show here early in the number 39 Gamer Advantage Chevrolet. He's really putting on a show. Great job from Mons. Let's see what he can do now. Maybe he can pull away from these guys and get up to the top 5.
Meanwhile, Shane's going to pick up spots. Barb ended up losing all of those spots that he had gained. He moved up to 6th. He's back to 9th. And now you've got Shane underneath Jackson Hartman. That is for 7th. Justin Mons going to set sights on Hunter Brittle for 5th. And Brandon Barkowski just ahead of him. Hunter Madalinas now attacking the 27 of William Barbagelato into turn 3. Teammates right now for Spectrum Racing trying to decide who's going to get that 9th place position.
Jackson Hartman looking to lose out possibly on another spot here, but this time to Shane Neiswanger. Neiswanger has been the guy on the move in this race so far. He's already up to battling for the 7th spot after starting 17th. It's already up 10 spots. We're not even 20 laps into the race. So a great run from Neiswanger, who's right there around the playoff bubble. And now we have a battle for the lead. Here comes Nanny diving into turn 3, and he's going to try to get past Jacob Bransky, and he's going to clear him in the middle of the corner. He might bring RJ Williams with him.
RJ's going to stick a nose underneath Bransky. Bransky going to maybe clear him off into 1. He's not there. RJ to the inside of Jacob Bransky, that number 03 Hippies Chippies Mountain Dew machine. Daniel Nanny is now clear and going to set sights on absolutely nothing. He's going to set sights on driving away. RJ can't get a run down the backstretch. Bransky might be able to close the door into 3. RJ lets off. Bransky keeps 2nd spot. Now Barkowski starting to sniff some draft from the 21 and maybe make some ground on him.
Here comes Brandon Barkowski slowly coming into the picture. The number 42, I've mentioned it, race in and race out. He needs to win. I don't think there's any way he's going to make it in on points. He needs to win a race to get himself into the playoffs, and he's looking strong here early in the number 42 car for 2511 Racing.
Yeah, we nicknamed Bransky Dog, and there's definitely a reason for that. He's not going to let Nanny get too far. He's going to be dogging him. And he's staying right there with him. RJ in tow. Barkowski getting ever closer. The other thing to note back there, Justin Mons making up ground on Hunter Brittle. This may be a 5 or 6 truck battle by the time it's all said and done as we watch Bransky go into turn 1.
Yeah, Bransky is not letting Nanny out of his sights. He's looking strong, just staying in right behind Nanny. He hasn't fallen behind more than 2 car lengths ever since he lost the lead. And you're looking at Hunter Brittle and Justin Mons on your screen as they continue to close in on this top 4 battle.
Jackson Hartman has held off Shane Neiswanger, but back in the battle for 11th spot, Michael Sensi, Eric Kep, Pink Machine against Green Machine, Turn Left Racing against Spectrum, both battling for 11th, and behind them is a cluster of trucks. You've got Gavin Fitzgerald trying to hold off Peter Akiyamato making his return to the Great Lakes Truck Series. Aaron Duclos, Samuel Hoff again making his return to the Truck Series. as well as Matthew Durr up there, who had a really good run going at Charlotte and got turned. He about makes contact with Duclos in 3 and 4. They keep it together, keep it going. Those are, I believe, former teammates or current teammates. I can't quite remember at this point, but they've definitely been teammates in the past, all keeping it going around that 15th position.
Definitely some hard racing going on back there right now. You see Samuel Hoff, he's trying to poke his nose in there. I saw him trying to maybe make it 3 wide on the backstretch last time by. Let's see what type of run he gets this time. Oh, gets a little loose off the corner, trying to maybe avoid Akimano on the high side. And Akimano's going to dive down low in front of Duclos. Great move from Akimano. And now he's going to set his sights on Gavin Fitzgerald in the number 14. And we battle for the lead. Bransky, he's going to try to take it back from Nanny going into turns 1 and 2. He had a great run coming out of turns 3 and 4. And he's going to clear him coming out of the corner. He's a dog, all right.
Definitely living up to that nickname. Bransky back to the lead. RJ debating what he wants to do with Nanny. He'll just sit in line. Barkowski's in this battle now. And it's Justin Mons around Brittle. We missed that as well. As Shane Nicewanger takes a peek to the inside of Jackson Hartman. That is for 6th. And Barbagelata in the 27th. Mr. Excitement trying to make some hay back there and look towards catching Jackson.
See Bransky in the lead. He let Nanny get to the lead, but he was right there, did not give up any time. He stayed right behind him. Oh, and we have Jackson Hartman pulling off here, maybe trying to make an early pit stop here in the number 26 machine. He pulled right off the track on the backstretch.
He is going to hit pit road. I'm a little confused. Maybe he's having an issue of some sort, but he will hit pit road here and bring it not into his stall. He is going to exit the event.
Oh man, you hate to see it.
Unfortunate circumstance for the guy that was running about 5th place. I'll have to catch up with him at a later date and find out exactly what happened. Meanwhile, RJ Williams around Daniel Nanny, that's for 2nd. And can Brandon Barkowski track these guys down and do anything?
He just set the sights on the lead right here. RJ Williams, that wasn't all. He went all in on the corner and had the quarter panel on Bransky, but Bransky's going to have to run off and stay right in front of him. RJ Williams, he wants that lead badly in the number 21 machine as he's all over Bransky's bumper going through 3 and 4.
Well, we saw him absolutely dominate the Cup Series Texas race. He obviously knows how to get around both versions of Texas, considering that was on Legacy, this is on current Texas. RJ all over dog Jacob Bransky for the lead, as Daniel Nanny is not very far behind them. He may be able to scoop up a spot if RJ can push Bransky off the line.
The guy that keeps on charging, though, is that number 39 Gamer Advantage Chevrolet. You see him on the screen in that 5th spot. He's right there. He's right behind Barkowski now, right on his bumper, looking to take over that 4th spot.
I told you, Justin Mons just needs some luck this season. He has had nothing going for him. The guy is sitting here 5th now. He's or 20-something in the points. Basically in the same situation as Brandon Barkowski, needs a win to be able to make these playoffs. And he is sitting here 5th on track, trying to track down the other guy that needs that win, Brandon Barkowski for 4th. They're going to block going into 3. Mons thinks better of trying to give him the bumper, just sits right here with them, going to try to maybe get him loose on corner exit, can't get close enough. Barkowski sits in 4th, Mons in 5th, trying to figure out a way around this Jeff Gordon machine.
And he fakes high, he's going to go low. Great move from Mons. He's going to get underneath them. What a move. And
meanwhile, RJ to the lead. Sorry, Kyle, but RJ is also to the lead at the same time, side by side.
Battles just going on everywhere here in the front. This is some great racing we have here in Texas today. RJ Williams and Jacob Bransky going head-to-head for the race lead. Dog versus dog, I guess.
Yeah, I wouldn't be, wow, RJ almost closed the door on him there. I wouldn't be opposed to calling RJ dog at this point, considering they're just all over each other. RJ is definitely an aggressive talent here, and he makes it happen week in and week out in the Cup Series. Coming down here for one of his truck starts, showing why he's a true Cup talent. He's to the lead. Bransky 2nd, Nanny 3rd, and Justin Mons creeping ever closer in that 4th spot.
Daniel Nanny seems like he's just kind of watching these guys right now. This is a good battle right here between Eric Kep and Samuel Hoff, and Hoff's going to clear him off the corner. Kep looks to be saving his stuff right now.
How about Sam and his little comeback tour here, running right outside the top 10, trying to close in on Michael Sensi for the 10th spot right now, has cleared Eric Kepf. So making some ground. I'm not exactly sure where he started, but he's definitely moved up through the ranks, and he's closing in on 10th place spot. Goes around Sensi, makes it look easy right there. 10th place for Samuel Hoff.
Yeah, Samuel Hoff showed off a lot of speed in practice and was 7th quickest in qualifying. He started 7th here today. Showed off a lot of speed, but it looks like he's trying to get his footing when it comes to the race, and it looks like he's figured it out now, and he's trying to get himself back up to the front. The number 17 machine of Samuel Hoff and that Patti Engineering Chevrolet.
Like I said, tires aren't going to come in too quick, but they will eventually make their way in. Nanny has completely dropped off of Bransky, about a half a second behind now. Justin Bond's right up behind Nanny, and Brandon Barkowski right behind them. Shane Neiswanger was challenging Hunter Brittle, but he's since dropped off. Brittle holds 6th very comfortably with a big island between him and Brandon Barkowski and William Barbagelata. Barb has since passed Neiswanger, setting Neiswanger back to 8th after his run up towards the top 5-ish area. And Hunter Madalena is still sitting there in 9th. We're kind of surprised by him not driving up through there. Shane makes a move on William Barbagelata as we watch Justin Mons try to get around Daniel Nanny for 3rd.
Here comes Mons. He continues to move up, and he's going to try to clear Nanny off the corner. They almost make contact, and they're going to continue on. And Mons just looks like he's going to clear him going into turns 1 and 2. But Daniel Nanny is not giving up that spot. He's still up high. This is some hard fighting from the number 30 of Daniel Nanny, but it looks like Mons might finally clear him. No, he doesn't go up, and Nanny's still going to be on this high side going into 3 and 4.
So that's what I was talking about, that loose setup. The setup is very loose in 1 and 2, and Nanny is able to just kind of hold the quarter panel. Barkowski to pit road. Pit stop starting here as Mons is still trying to complete this pass on Daniel Nanny. The setup is just built to the point that it's loose enough off of turn 2 that you really can make a run on the outside and kind of pinch the guy down. We're going to see if Nanny can do it again. Mons is going to say, nope, I'm going to clear you. Nanny's going to have to lift and give it to him. That was very close. Nanny's going to push him down the backstretch here. Mons to 3rd, Nanny to 4th.
Drivers beginning to start up from pit stops. Here comes Bransky. Bransky's going to come down pit road. These guys are running around 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds slower than their quickest lap. So tires are definitely going to make a big difference here. Maybe why you saw someone like Brandon Burkusky come in first, and now you saw Bransky come in the next lap. I expect RJ Williams to come down this time. And right when I say that, he comes over the radio, RJ Williams. He's going to come down pit road this time by William Barbagelata, sounds like, as well, and Neiswanger, amongst others.
We had a massive issue. Jake Miller's night is essentially done. He ran into the back of Aiden DuPont trying to get on pit road. He was trying to make his way back up through the field, and he had to pit with all these guys, and they are all, wow, Shane Neiswanger, William Barbagelata, you can see him driving in hard. Jake Miller was trying to do the same thing. Unfortunately, got caught behind Aiden DuPont. They made contact. Jake is going to be very hurt from that. DuPont caught the inside wall. 2 trucks that are ultimately very damaged after that.
You hate to see a Jake Miller, a driver with a lot of speed, especially at tracks like this. He was definitely going to, I feel like he was going to be a big contender for this win before this. Oh, the caution's out in the middle of the pit cycle. Oh, man. And this is huge. And I'm wondering, Mons maybe got a penalty there. I don't know, because he hit pit road right around that caution. Oh, man.
Looks like it's Gavin Fitzgerald and Lewis Woodall. Gavin just brings it to a stop in the middle of 1 and 2. Getting slightly sideways. I'm not really sure why you would just stop the truck in 1 and 2 there to pull out a caution, but that is definitely going to flip this entire race on its head.
That's insane. This race has just gotten real crazy. You see seeing Lewis Woodall. He just goes through the grass, looks like.
I'm showing Sam Hoff as the leader, or is it Hunter Madalenas? Hunter is in front of Sam, but Sam crossed the line first by iRacing scoring. They're going to come down pit road. I'll tell you who this benefits. Actually, it's Brandon Barkowski a lap down. We're trying to sit here and re-look at this right now because I'm not sure who's on the lead lap and who's not, but it looks like anybody that stayed out right there is in a really good spot. I believe because, well, it looks like Branson's going to get the wave around. and then everybody else is, or Bransky's gonna get the free pass, and everyone else is gonna have to take the wave around. I thought that was gonna play right into Barkowski's hands because he was the first guy to pit, but I think with how Bransky pitted and got off of pit road, he's gonna be the one that lucks out in this situation with the free pass.
Yeah, Bransky's gonna be the lucky one getting that free pass. A lot of these other drivers are gonna have to rely on possibly getting a wave around. This is definitely gonna send this whole race for a loop.
The unfortunate circumstances due to the iRacing rules and how this is going to play out, Bransky's actually going to have to start from the back of the field with that free pass. So I don't think that's going to benefit him as much as we may think, because all of these free pass cars should essentially be able to start ahead of him if he decides to pit. If he stays out, he should be okay to be where he is. But sometimes it doesn't benefit you to get that free pass when you have this many wave rounds.
So who's the favorite now? This just makes this race so crazy. Hunter Madalinas has really done some strategies in some of these races to find track position, and it looks like he's done it again here today in the number 9 machine. But I wouldn't look too far past him in Samuel Hoff. Samuel Hoff has shown a lot of speed. Can some of these drivers get back up to the front, or can they be maybe caught up in some madness, Elliot?
I mean, I was going to say I can't pick a favorite until I know who's even the lead lap at this point. I believe it looks like RJ is going to be cycled out to be your leader. You've got Nanny, Brittle, Barbagelata, Niswanger, Sensi, Hunter Madalinas, Samuel Hoff, Aaron Duclos, and Brandon White in your top 10. Some we haven't talked about either. Ashton Lawson started this race in 3rd, running 11th right now. He dropped off pretty quickly. I'm not sure if maybe he also had some type of penalty or something to serve, but he's back to 11th. And it looks like what that has done is killed Barkowski's run and set him back to 22nd, as well as Matthew Duran 21st. Those were the two guys that pit initially throughout this run, and that has completely flipped their race over. Barkowski obviously was running top 5 at the time, and now he is backmired in 22nd, and we'll have to restart around there when this goes back green.
Yeah, they're going to be relying on the wave around to get their laps back. Matthew Duran, Brandon Burkusky, Matt Daniels, amongst others, trying to get their laps back via the wave around. RJ Williams has cycled out to be your race leader. Daniel Nanny right behind him, looking to see if maybe the lights go out on the pace car this time by, and we're going to have those wave arounds drive around and get their laps back. And we're going to line up for another restart here after caution number 2, after that incident between Lewis Woodall and Gavin Fitzgerald in turns 1 and 2. And the lights are out on the pace car, and here goes your wave arounds. They're going to begin to drive around the pace car and get their lap back or laps back, whichever, if they're a lap down or multiple laps down. And they're going to begin to line up behind them. RJ Williams looks like he's going to decide on the inside lane, which will force Daniel Nanny up high. Should be a pretty entertaining restart. You have William Barbagelata right there in that 4th spot. He had a lot of speed there at the end of that run. It looked like his truck was doing really well on the long run. So I'm expecting maybe a move from him on this restart, maybe to try to set him up with better track position for when we get to that longer run. It looked like RJ Williams, Daniel Nanny, amongst others, are really quick on the beginning part of the run, but drivers like William Barbagelata, even Shane Niswanger, Justin Mons, they were coming on late in that run.
So really, this is a really good shot for someone like Hunter Brittle or Shane Niswanger to see what they can do here. They've had so many chances up the front and have been taken out by strategies and other things out of their control. Be interesting to see how well they can keep this track position and if they can attack RJ and Danny here.
Pace car pulls off, and we're going to get another restart here. RJ Williams is going to lead him down, and a great restart from the number 21. Going to get a couple car lengths on Hunter Brittle, who looks like he's going to take over the 2nd spot from Daniel Nanny after he's going to get a huge push from Barbagelata going into turn 1.
Yeah, Barb could have taken that 3 wide. He didn't. kudos to Barb, giving Brittle the push. Let's see if Brittle can hold on to it. He gets loose. He has to chase it up a little bit. That's going to hurt his momentum on corner exit. Here come Nanny and Barb, but he's going to hold that second spot. And if he can hold it into 3, he'll be in a good spot. Here comes Barb trying to complete that pass on Nanny, but Nanny is going to be very tough on that outside lane. Barb's going to have to chase it up the hill a little bit. Nanny to 3rd, holds onto it. Shane 5th, Barb in 4th, Hunter Brittle in 2nd now. And RJ Williams trying to coast away. Barb with the block into turn 1 on Shane Nicewanger. Very aggressive, but nothing that we don't expect from Barb. And Shane's making the run off the corner. And what's he going to do with it?
Here goes Shane Nicewanger. He's going to dive low once again. He's at his quarter panel. Barbagelata can't block him this time. And Nicewanger and Barbagelata are going to be neck and neck going through 3 and 4. And Shane looks like he might clear him off the corner, and he will. But Barbagelata is all over his bumper coming through the quad oval.
I think that's a little bit of payback from Shane saying, listen, you block me. I'm going to clear myself a little bit here, and you're just going to sit there. Good on Shane to get there to 4th. Barb doing the smart thing of kind of just letting him go. It's really not worth trying to pinch someone down in 3 and 4 unless you're like door to door with them, because you don't have the momentum up there. You lose so much time. It's easier for the guy on the bottom to just complete the pass and keep going. So good on Barb to let him go, see what he can do here. Barb had a pretty fast truck towards the end of the run, was able to clear Shane, and they kind of battled it out for about that 5th, 6th spot. And we'll see if he can kind of keep toe with Shane and see if maybe they can attack this top 3 later on.
You're watching back here. There's some heavy battling right here, but you see that red and green machine. Jacob Bransky trying to make his charge back up to the front. He's already back up to 12th. Now he's making his move for 11th, and now he's trying to take 10th away from Ross Brockman going into turns 3 and 4. Jacob Bransky is definitely on the move.
Gonna make it look pretty easy. Brockman's just gonna kind of move over and let him go, realizing, hey, I don't quite have the speed you have. It's fine. Brittle is up here attacking RJ Williams. Not something we anticipated seeing. I give Brittle a lot of credit. I've seen him run a lot of races this season, and just kind of, he definitely seems like the guy that comes in and just wants to finish the race out. Just wants to come in, get a solid run, take his top 5 and go home. But right now he is showing, hey, I want to win one of these races. I'm here to win these races, and he is putting it to one of, if not, the best Cup Series driver that we have, RJ Williams. And Daniel Nanny, Season 1 Cup Series champion, directly behind him. I mean, he is around 2 glorified drivers in this whole community in the Great Lakes Racing League, and he is putting it to RJ right now.
Hunter Brittle looking to have a good run here today. He needs it. He's right there on that bubble coming in today. He's right there in that 12th spot in the playoffs right now. He's the last spot that would make it into the playoffs right now. So he's right there on the bubble trying to get as many points as he can. Maybe even lock himself up here tonight.
Saw RJ play a little bit of aero game into 3 as we're watching. I believe that's 28 and the 41. Matthew Durr, James Shiflett back there battling for position. Matthew Durr trying to gain some spots back. Eric Kepf also in the frame. Michael Sensi back there. I'm not really sure what happened to Sensi. He was running up front. And we'd have to go double check on Justin Mons. We see Barkowski back there as well. All these guys trying to gain spots back. Mons just ahead of Barkowski, trying to gain these spots back after that awkward pit, after that caution during pit sequence that kind of flipped all of this over and put them back there.
Yeah, that caution during the middle of the pit sequence definitely changed everything. And you're seeing the heavy battles because of it. You see Eric Kepf right now battling amongst some of these drivers back here. You see Matt Daniels back here as well. Some good battles going on. You see Lewis Woodall in the number 13. He's making some spots back up, it seems like, after his incident. And then, of course, Justin Mons, he's making up a bunch of spots after being stuck a lap down.
I just watched Hunter Brittle and Shane Nicewanger nearly catch the wall off of turn 4. These trucks are already starting to tighten up. The sun is kind of behind clouds here. That should give them extra grip, but in some cases with the setup that we have, it may kind of hurt the drive on corner exit with the sun not being there. So it's not as slippery. It's more gripped up, and these guys are starting to get closer to that wall, get a little bit tight. I think Shane maybe have gotten aero tight behind Nanny, and he's trying to track him down for that 3rd spot. He was there, got a little tight off of turn 4 a couple laps ago, and now he's trying to recharge and get back after him for that 3rd spot.
Shane was one of those drivers that I mentioned that was a little quicker on the longer runs. So I'm expecting him to really come into his own the longer we go.
Yeah, we'll have to see exactly how these guys can save tires and everything. I mean, there's It's definitely 5 times harder to save tire when you're trying to run the top 5 than it is sitting back there about 10th or so if you're patient. You know, you want to try to get around these guys and race these guys, but it's hard to sit here and race for 3rd when all these guys want to maintain their spots and try to get towards that clean air, as opposed to just running around back at about 10th or 15th and maybe saving a little bit through the draft and through the pack itself. But right now, Shane looking really good. Barb right there. Sensi got that track position back. He was running about 10th. Remember, he's about 6th, 7th now. And with that track position, he's right there, right behind William Barbilotta.
I was mentioning him earlier. He's slowly sneaking up to these guys right now. The driver, that number 17, Samuel Hoff, he's sneaking up here. He's been catching. Oh, and right when I say that, it's almost up into the wall, slows down a little bit off the corner, but he'll be okay. But Samuel Hoff is trying to get up to this top 6 right now and maybe get some more spots, as now he's gotten back up to where he started in the 7th position.
We've also got some contenders back here. Hunter Madalinas, we haven't mentioned him. Aaron Duclos back here, 8th and 9th. Just quietly working their way up through there. Duclos, we haven't mentioned at all tonight. Hasn't really had a stellar run up until now. He's up inside the top 10. Can see those guys in front of him. You can see Sam get a little bit tight on corner exit as he tries to get up to Sensi. But all these guys solidly inside the top 10 with Bransky in tow, a little bit further back as he tries to maneuver through here after getting that wake around last time by.
You mentioned Aaron Duclos. Aaron Duclos is another one of those drivers that needs a good run tonight. He comes into this race only 2 points outside the playoff bubble. Right now on the playoff bubble, I mentioned it was Hunter Brittle. Aaron Duclos is only 2 points outside the playoffs right now, so he needs to get some points here today, especially with Brittle having the success he is right now in the 2nd spot. Duclos is trying to get past Madalinas right now as he's right on his bumper coming down the back stretch. You're looking at his onboard camera.
Yeah, I think Hunter's going to be eventually a contender in this one. He's usually a guy that, I mean, runs about top 5 all day, but really becomes a story towards the end of it. Right now, just not really having the start of the race that he wants. Again, started about 14th, 15th, has worked his way up to about 8th through all these strategies and odds and ends through cautions, and just kind of settling on trying to get up to Sam. I think once these tires really settle out like they have this run, you can see just how even all of these guys really are, aside from someone like RJ, who's just kind of driving away at this point. Hunter Brittle doesn't have anything. Daniel Nanny, I believe, has just had to try to work his way around with Shane and Brittle and just kind of wore out his tires just enough to where he doesn't have much of anything. And I think Aero Games is just going to be a big thing at this point, as you see Hunter just get ever closer to Sam Hoff for that 7th spot.
Hunter Madalinas and Aaron Duclos catching up to Samuel Hoff for that 7th spot. And Samuel Hoff's going to protect that low line. Madalinas is closing in, coming through turns 3 and 4. Interested to see which lane he might pick to get around him, because Hoff seems very protective of that inside lane right now.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to want to protect that inside lane too, as Hunter kind of left it open for Duclos, but he's far enough ahead. Bransky making up that ground. When these 3 in front of him start racing, Bransky might get very close. Sam with the aggressive kind of, the defensive line, sorry, not really an aggressive move, but just pulling out a little bit of road racing tactic, just using the defensive line there into the corner. It actually hurt him on exit because he got a weird entry.
Whoa.
Hunter going to get to the inside off of that, and Hunter may get this this pass for 7th straight here going into turn 1. So Sam kind of just made a little mental mistake there. Should have just run his line and he would have been okay, but trying to be defensive and block off the 9 truck just gave him an advantage on corner exit. Let's see if he does the same thing with Duclos. He does. Let's see if Duclos or Bransky can make anything of this.
And him running into the corner low like that had him real tight throughout the corner, and he got sideways off the corner, and he kind of does almost the same thing right there. And now Bransky, he's going to try to get 2 for 1. The 2 for 1 special for the 0-3 is he's going to get past Duclos and Sam Hoff.
Old Bransky moving his way up. Dog in the competition. He's got his sight sets on Hunter Madalinas and Michael Sensi just in front of him. Sensi seems to have been falling off a little bit compared to what Hunter's been doing, so I think Hunter's just saved enough tire and has started to work his way up. Barb in front of Sensi, so these guys are all going to kind of close in on each other, and it looks like Hunter is one of the guys that has saved his stuff and moving up. Meanwhile, Daniel Nanny to 2nd place, battling Hunter Brittle right now through 1 and 2. He looks like he's going to clear him. Brittle have to kind of give it to him. Yep, very close, but Nanny makes it work.
Slide job! Oh, man. There wasn't very much space there, Daniel Nanny, but you made it work. Hunter Brittle sideways through turns 3 and 4. Wow, great save from Brittle. I thought Brittle was going to lose it through the corner right there. Fantastic save.
You're talking... Madalinas did the same thing. Sorry, Bransky maybe looking 3 wide. It's getting aggressive back here. They all want to get around Sensi. Madalinas did the same thing as Brittle. Got really loose off of turn 4. So it looks like if you're behind someone, they're going to get arrow tight. But if you're all by yourself, you're going to get a little bit loose. Bransky going to have to settle back behind Sensi. Sensi looking at how he wants to get around Madalinas, but Madalinas should just drive away, having just cleared him.
You're talking... Oh, and Bransky looked like he's going to move Sensi out of the way. He gives him a little bit of a bump coming off the corner. A little bit of Bristol action. What a move from Bransky. And Sensi's going to fall behind Duclos now. But you were talking about Bransky, how he's a dog. But you know what's worse than a dog? A mad dog. This guy got stuck a lap down, got the lucky dog, and now he's having to drive back through the field. Jacob Bransky, and he might have the fastest car here today. He might have the truck that competes with RJ Williams. RJ Williams continues to drive away from the field.
And a quick shout out to Brandon Barkowski back here in about 14, still trying to work his way, trying to get around Colby Baker right now for 13th. Another one of those trucks just trying to work his way back up through the field. It was a top 5 truck earlier. Justin Mons as well, up to 10th. Got sight sets on Michael Sensi for 9th. And just, again, these guys trying to work their way up through here as Duclos is not really done with Bransky. I think he feels that he's got the speed, but I'm sure Bransky's like, listen, I'm a top 5 truck. I want to get up there and battle these guys. I'm tired of dealing with these 7th, 8th place guys.
Bransky continues to move himself back up through the field after getting the lucky dog on that last caution flag after being stuck a lap down during the pit sequence. But Aaron Duclos, I've mentioned it, Duclos needs to get as many points as he can. He's one of those drivers that has kind of had a good amount of bad luck this season. Justin Mons is another one that just had a lot of bad luck, even though they've had a lot of speed. So Duclos trying to get himself a good finish here today, make up some points, and try to get himself into the playoffs.
Talking about bad luck, I think that slow truck of Aiden DuPont, remember he had contact with Jake Miller. I think he's down on engine power. That just really hurt Justin Mons trying to get underneath Michael Sensi going into turn 3. It looked like Sensi was about going to give it to him. DuPont sliding, saves it, keeps it going. He just came off pit road, fresh tires. That truck is not going to handle very well. He's slowing down the backstretch. I think he's going to let everybody by.
They blew it up.
We continue on. I believe if he can, he should be able to get down to the apron. And he's going to reset, and we'll be continuing on. No yellow.
Yeah, when he was underneath Justin Mons, I was watching him and the engine just exploded and he got completely sideways and dived immediately underneath the line to get out of everybody's way.
Mons cleared Sensi there off of turn 2. Move Mons up another spot. Meanwhile, Shane was on the back bumper of Hunter Brittle. Not really sure what happened up here. They separated back, but there was a very good battle for 3rd. And as you can see, Barb is not very far behind. But better yet, Hunter Madalinas, Jacob Bransky, and Aaron Duclos just ever so slightly gaining more and more ground on these guys. This is a very draft-heavy track, and as soon as you can start to sniff it, especially in 3 and 4, you can use that to your advantage. For now, it's about trying to manage turns 1 and 2, not get the truck too loose, try to get really good off that corner, make sure you maintain momentum. Bransky looking like he wants to make this pass on Hunter Madalinas, though.
Bransky putting a lot of pressure on Hunter Madalinas. Jacob Bransky looking to move himself back up into the 6th spot as he gets closer and closer to the front. He's all over Madalinas coming through turns 1 and 2. He might have a run off the corner. Let's see what he can do on the backstretch here. I don't think he... Oh, Madalinas gets a little loose. Bransky's going to have a run coming into turns 3 and 4, and he's going to send it on the inside. Can he make it stick?
It looks like he's going to. Madalinas may just give it to him, maybe not. Nope, Madalinas is going to drive for it. Meanwhile, we had a moment with Brandon Barkowski and Samuel Hoff. You want to pull that back up on the replay coming off of turn 2 last time by lap 70. Brandon got right to the back of Sam. Sam got very, very loose, and then Brandon drove up underneath him, gave him a bunch of room to collect it, but Sam was about wrecking that truck. off of turn 2 on lap 70 there.
A hell of a moment and a very close call for Samuel Hoff and Brandon Barkowski. Lewis Woodall was around there, I think, as well. Here you're going to see it on your screen right here. And a little contact between the two drivers right there, and Burkusky trying to hang on to his spot and blocks Woodall down to the bottom of the track.
Meanwhile, this all happened, and Aaron Duclos has gained a spot over Madalenas. Madalenas dropped 2 spots behind Bransky and Duclos. Bransky now looking at trying to get around the 27 of William Barber-Gelada. Shane is still right on the back of Hunter Brittle, just can't do anything about it. I'm not really sure what the issue is, but Shane has caught Brittle multiple times and just can't clear him. Meanwhile, RJ is driven out to a substantial lead and is continuing to lap faster. Yellow flag.
And there is the caution. The caution flag is out here at Texas, and it's Brandon Burkusky. Oh, man. You hate to see it. Brandon Burkusky fighting to win, to get himself into the playoffs, and that could be a day ender right there for the 42 machine, as he is wrecked.
Ross Brockman and Eric Kep hit pit road about that same time. This just looks like Brandon did not want to give that spot up to Lewis, and Lewis was just not having it. I mean, they did block each other down the backstretch. Well, Brandon blocked Lewis down the backstretch into 3 when Sam got loose and they had to lift. I think Lewis just kind of was done dealing with what Brandon was trying to do there, and ultimately wanted to put that nose underneath Brandon, and Brandon just didn't want to give up the spot. Looked like 2 guys going for 1 spot there.
You just hate to see it. Brandon Barkowski fighting to get himself into the playoffs. You're going to see it on your screen in a moment. See Brandon Barkowski right in front of Lewis Woodall. Lewis Woodall in the number 13 machine. He's going to have his run on Brandon Barkowski.
I'm not really sure what Brandon did here. He just kind of got loose and then just was trying to block the spot and left him enough room. I mean, I guess if he wanted to block it, he should have cut all the way down to the grass. I don't know. It's like he left him a half a lane, and Lewis was fine to take that half a lane, and just eventually got a nose in there as the dog leg straightened out, and it was fair game from there. Luckily, Brandon's not very destroyed by that. I'm just very confused as to what his truck really did. Again, I was under the impression that these trucks were getting tight. It seems like they're starting to slide a little bit on exit, though. I'm not sure if that may have been... I mean, it looked like Lewis kind of lifted enough to get in and get a nice run off, and Brandon may have actually gotten tight on corner exit and needed to lift out of it a bit. Doesn't look like he has too much damage to it, though. Should be able to get that repaired pretty quickly. Meanwhile, everybody's hit pit road. No real change in the front, except for the fact that Nanny actually did beat RJ off. So Nanny to the lead, RJ second, Hunter Brittle, followed by Shane Neiswanger and William Barber-Gelada, your top 5 coming off of pit road. So really good stop by Daniel Nanny to make that work.
Daniel Nanny got himself back up to the race lead. I think that's where it really makes things interesting, because RJ just seems to drive away pretty quickly at the beginning of this run. I was noticing, though, at the end of that run that Nanny was a little quicker than RJ at the end of that run for the most part, but not too much quicker, not enough where he was going to make up that gap, because RJ Williams is just so quick at the beginning of this run. So this is really going to help a driver like Daniel Nanny, like Hunter Brittle, like Shane Neiswanger, because it pulls RJ back in to the battle.
So Brockman will likely take the wave around here. Eric Kepf was actually on the lead lap, which is why he pit. He was technically your leader. He had just come down pit road as that caution was happening. Like I mentioned, him and Brockman were on pit road when the yellow came out. So I'm not sure if maybe Eric's strategy is a little bit different now. He may have just come in and gotten tires and fuel to ensure that he's about on the same lap as these guys. But nevertheless, Daniel Nanny will be your leader. Brockman will take this wave around next time by, and we'll get ready to sack them back up and get ready to go. Quick update, Jake Miller's still a lap down after that initial contact with Aiden DuPont. Unfortunately, his day is ultimately going to run out about 27th or 28th, depending on if we have any more incidents. And Gavin Fitzgerald is around the same spot. I believe he's also a lap down, just kind of minding his P's and Q's I believe he actually kept it on the lead lap that time. So probably just getting a little bit more repairs done from when he slid and made contact with, I believe it was Duclos, but he's about in that 27th position too. Split second TV, or I'm sorry, now FRN partner that helps with the broadcast over on the Cup side, Gavin Fitzgerald.
Yeah, Gavin Fitzgerald, our Flatout Racing Network partner. Yeah, he had his contact earlier with Mr. Lewis Woodall. Woodall's been around a lot of the action today, but somehow doesn't have too much damage on his number 13 machine.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I feel like that contact between him and Brandon, it was, you know, Brandon had made that block into 3, and Lewis just kind of, that was 2 laps ago. It's not like it was 2 races ago, and Lewis just he wasn't going to deal with it again. Be interesting to see, because, I mean, Brandon essentially had more speed than Lewis during that run. So Brandon's only going to line up 26th. Lewis will be 20th. So we may need to keep a secondary cam on what's going on back there between the 13 and the 42, because they will likely see each other before this one's over. Again, lap 77 of 125. We are past the halfway mark and looking forward to seeing how they run these last laps out. About 50 to go here when they take the green. And we'll see if Nanny actually has anything for RJ. Is it the clean air, or is RJ just that fast? And we've got Bransky back up here in 6th. Can he make some hay around the 10 and the 49 and become the 3rd challenger once again for the 30 and the 21?
My driver to watch on this restart is exactly that 0-3 with those red numbers on that 0-3 machine. I saw someone in the chat mentioning the red on red action he got going on there. He's the guy I'm watching because he has a lot of speed and he's looking to get himself back up to the front. But the pace car is going to pull down pit road, and Daniel Nanny's going to lead him to another restart here after caution number 3. And the green flag is out, and a great restart from Nanny, and RJ's going to fall around a car length back, and Brittle's going to be on his inside, most likely going into 1. Nope, he's going to fall back behind him.
Bransky being very, very aggressive behind Shane. They're going to pinch each other down to 1 and 2. Shane is going to lose that spot. RJ's loose off the corner. Brittle's loose off the corner. Bransky's going to make a ton of time up. He's going to be able to look at the 10, maybe get him off of turn 4, maybe get him into 3. He's going to set his sights on him. Here he comes to the inside of Hunter Brittle in 3 and 4. RJ ahead of them. Brittle loose off the corner. Bransky is just flying. He goes from 6th to 3rd on that restart, and Shane and Brittle are both sitting there like, what just happened? Shane's going to try to get around Hunter Brittle for 4th now, but right now it's Daniel Nanny out front. RJ looking to chase him down, and challenger number 3 back up in the fold, Jacob Bransky.
I was saying it, the guy to watch on that restart has to be Bransky. There's another caution out on the speedway. Oh, man. A big accident on the backstretch. Heavy damage.
Looks like Caleb DeSorda, Brian Mayhew.
Yeah, Brian Mayhew in the 43 looks like. That could have been a lot worse of an accident than it was. He was literally sitting in the middle of the racetrack. Could have had a lot more drivers involved in that incident. Decent amount of damage to that number 43 Bass Pro Shops machine.
We'll get a replay up, but it looks like just a single car spin. Luckily, no contact, no harm, no foul. Just looks like he, again, setup's really loose. You could see that. Just couldn't wrangle it back under control, but lucky for Brockman, lucky for, I believe it's Caleb that went down to the inside to all avoid that and keep on trucking through here. But unfortunate night for Brian Mayhew now. The truck's definitely hurt, but it doesn't have front end damage as bad as Jake Miller does, so it may still be intact and good to go, but definitely going to put a hindrance on his night.
Yeah, this is just one of those tracks where any bit of damage is going to affect you to a certain degree. Someone like you mentioned, Jake Miller, his damage is just, he can't even stand that damage. We're going to run you a little bit of a commercial here from our sponsors here real quick while we're under this caution break, and I don't think anybody's going to make any pit stops, so we'll keep you in the action in the side-by-side.
Welcome, race fans. This is Paul Page, the voice of IndyCars. And today we're excited to present another IndyCar event brought to you by the Dark Horse IndyCar Series. From the Unzers to Mears, Foyt, and Andretti, now it's Corley, Peterson, Davies, Gardner, and Teague. You can expect high speeds, incredible wheel-to-wheel action, and intense drama that you could only get in an IndyCar. So sit back and enjoy your favorite drivers from all over the world take the track. Dark Horse IndyCar drivers, start your engines. Welcome, race fans. This is Paul Page, the voice of IndyCars. And today we're excited to present another IndyCar event brought to you by the Dark Horse IndyCar Series. From the Unzers to Mears, Foyt, and Andretti, now it's Corley, Peterson, Davies, Gardner, and Team. You can expect high speeds, incredible wheel-to-wheel action, and intense drama that you could only get in an IndyCar. So sit back and enjoy your favorite drivers from all over the world take the track. Dark Horse IndyCar drivers, start your engines.
And welcome back to Texas after that little sponsor break in the side-by-side. I think we're going to get the one to go this time by. Daniel Nanny is your race leader in the number 30 machine. Interested to see if he's going to pick the high side or the inside. Right now he's on the high side, but might switch it up when we get to the line.
He's elected outside, and I think that that's a very, we saw it in trucks at Charlotte. Brockman picked the outside with Brittle on the inside to put Jake Miller on the inside behind Brittle, and we saw how that went down. This isn't a tire situation, but I think it's a calculated maneuver by Nanny to put Bransky behind RJ and hopefully drag Brittle around the outside with him a little bit. We know Brittle's fast because he's been running up in the top 3 all night. But I think Nanny knows how fast that 03 truck is, and this is just a move to hope that he can keep Bransky back there. But I'll tell you what this does for Bransky. Look for him to go 3 wide under RJ. He's going to be able to jump it, and if RJ leaves a gap, Bransky's going to have room, and it'll be an opportunity for Bransky to try to make that move on RJ and come out in second place.
I don't know if it's a great idea to put a dog in a cage, Elliot.
Definitely not the best idea, but I've seen Nanny do some interesting things before, and this does not take the cake, I'll tell you that much.
Well, this should definitely be a great restart. I'm very interested to see what Bransky can pull on this restart, as the pace car is going to pull off turns 3 and 4, and we're going to have another restart here after caution number 4. We have around 40 laps to go here at Texas Motor Speedway for the Patti Engineering 200. Here comes the pace car down pit road. Daniel Nanny's going to lead him into the restart zone and take the green flag. And here he goes, and there's the restart. A good restart from Nanny. RJ Williams was ready that time. He's right behind him coming out of the quad oval. Great restart from him. And here comes Bransky, who looks like he's going to jump into the 3rd spot going into 1 and 2. Caution's back out.
I was about to talk about how well, wow, there's a couple, oh, Justin Mons once again. Sam Hoff involved. Wow.
I can't say this enough about Justin Mons. Everybody talks about how Chris Heller has the golden horseshoe. Justin Mons has the opposite of a golden horseshoe. I don't even know what he has.
I mean, he has the copper horseshoe.
We're gonna take a look at this replay. We're gonna look at the number 13 and the number 12. You see Cleo Desorda on the inside. You see Lewis Woodall right behind him in the number 13 machine. Lewis Woodall trying to make it, looks like he's trying to make it 3 wide here. Gets a little into Samuel Hoff's rear end and just madness after that. And Mons gets caught up in it, real heavy damage to his machine. Samuel Hoff, not the return he was looking for as well in the 17 machine. You hate to see it. Caleb DeSorda is out of the race. We're going to take another view at it here. There's a pretty decent checkup throughout the field, and Woodall's trying to make the most of it, maybe make it 3 wide, and there just wasn't the space. Lewis Woodall goes flying in the air after the incident, after making contact with the wall. You see the 61 of Chris White was involved as well.
Michael Levine, blown engine. I don't know if maybe there was an overcalculation for Lewis. You saw the truck that was underneath him was the 42 of Brandon Barkowski. Maybe Lewis may have thought that there was going to be some payback ordered there, but Brandon looked like he was fine. It looked like he was just going to go. He's on board with Lewis here. He just wasn't clear of Sam, and he thought he was, and it was a nick. And it was just enough, man.
That's a crazy view you're getting right there. Oh my goodness.
Somersault of the Pepsi machine.
Oh man. Pepsi Max.
Well, we said Lewis was around a lot of the action tonight. Unfortunately, this one he was in the complete middle of with not very many places to go. But man, that just looked like, you know, similar to a Chase Elliott and Kyle Busch deal at Darlington. Everyone remembers Kyle Busch turning Chase Elliott. It just looks like an overcalculation or a misstep on Lewis's part. Everyone was going so slow, it's easy to kind of mess that up and not know exactly what's going to happen. There were a couple trucks that checked up in front of those guys that forced this whole gap to not really go. And unfortunately, Lewis, Sam, Caleb, Justin Mons, Michael Levine, others involved in this mess.
Yeah, I see you in the chat, Justin Mons. I really hate to see you have the bad luck you be having this season. Christopher Heller says that he's really impressed about your run this week, but I'm impressed every week by what you do, Justin. Just the finishing, it's just been unfortunate. You've been caught up in a lot of bad luck, but I'm hoping that luck reverses course here soon. Maybe you can get yourself into victory lane, because you've definitely shown the speed to at least compete for victories this season in multiple races, and just you hate to see it. Driver like Justin Mons have the bad luck that he's had this year. One of the strongest drivers, I'd say, this season. Probably top 5, top 10 driver this season.
I think that goes, you know, hand in hand with Brandon Barkowski's race tonight. I mean, he was also a top 5, top 10 guy. It looks like Bransky is really one of the only guys that was able to take that bad luck and reverse it after that. I believe the first caution was Gavin during that that sequence that happened. Anybody else just seems to have been completely mired up in that. Jake Miller was one of them as well after his black flag and everything. So just nothing positive to really think about after that one, unfortunately. But if there is something to pull from it, I mean, Mons had a top 5 truck, really showed a lot of speed, and it's going to hurt to see him finish down the order. But man, definitely had one of the top performing trucks as far as who was out here, as well as the 42, and unfortunately neither of them are going to end up with a good day because of a situation like this. But what I was saying before this caution was about to happen, as we were going into turn 1, was Barb laid back, ran the 3rd lane on that restart, and I thought that was going to give him a terrible start because he was looking straight at the back bumper of Hunter Brittle, but apparently it allowed him to really see what Nanny was doing and get a jump. I'm not sure if RJ maybe made a call out, again, they're teammates, but man, RJ went and Barb launched as well. Unfortunately, the guys behind him, like Hunter Madalinas and Ashton Lawson, you know, they didn't go, and it kind of stacked up a little bit of the field there, but it gave Barb a really good shot at trying to clear these guys. Shane Neiswanger's up there too. Bransky looked like he was going to get about 2nd or 3rd there. So really interesting restart of the front. Frustrating to see all that happen at the back, but we'll stack them back up and get ready to go. Something to note, though, Ashton Lawson, 7th place. We haven't talked about him all day, but he's back up here in the top 10, right with Hunter Madalinas and William Barber-Gelata. Let's see what he can do from there.
Yeah, it looked like to me maybe at the beginning of the race, Ashton Lawson had some issues and fell farther towards the back, and he was one of those drivers that pit on that very first caution that we had. He was one of the very few drivers that pit under that caution, so he went to the back and he's been trying to work his way back up to the front ever since. And now you see him right up here in the top 10. He has a shot here to get back up to the top 5 and maybe even compete for the victory, as we're going to go green flag racing this time by, as the pace car pulls off turns 3 and 4. Daniel Nanny's going to lead him down into the restart zone, and they're going to go racing once again. Daniel Nanny on the outside, RJ Williams on the inside, and here goes Nanny. And RJ Williams is ready once again as he's going to pull in right behind Daniel Nanny, and Hunter Brittle and Jacob Bransky are going to battle it out for the 3rd spot going into 1.
I think that worked out really well for Bransky. The battle's back there around Shane and Hunter. That's about the 6th spot. Barb's going to get real close on Brittle. I believe he got maybe a little bit loose, couldn't get to the back quarter panel of Brittle. Brittle's going to hold on. But right now, Shane is all over the back of Hunter Madalinas. That's for the 6th position.
Some 3-wide racing back here. You see Matt Daniels on the inside. He gets in Anderson Bowen. Matthew Durr. Huge contact. Big wreck. Oh, man. Oh, man. 3-wide racing between Daniels and Matthew Durr. And it looked like Daniels had gotten into the quarter panel of Durr. And Durr goes around with heavy contact to the outside wall.
Into one of those survival events here. I mean, you get these 3-wide battles going on. These guys are just kind of hanging on through 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4. No one's going to lift, and they're actually, kind of sliding through the corner. You see Matt catches the apron, and that's all that happens. As soon as he catches the apron, I mean, you have no control. How about Jake Miller, and I believe that's Gavin Fitzgerald, literally driving underneath Matthew Durr. Unbelievable.
You look like a spinning top. You look like a spinning top flying through the air.
I can't believe how high that truck went up in the air. That completely saved Gavin and Jake. They would have been very much hurt. We're going to watch on board from Jake. Watch him drive underneath, what are these, 3,600-pound trucks? Unbelievable.
Like, Texas Speedway was playing Frisbee golf with Matthew Durr right there.
Fortunately, I don't know who that was that blew up. Was that... I don't believe that was Michael Sensi. That was right in front of Jake, right?
Heavy contact for Matthew Durr. Huge incident right there. That was insane.
Daniel Nanny has hit pit road. So, real quick, Brandon Neufeld was the one that blew up there, just so we're updated on that. Daniel Nanny, from the lead, has hit pit road. Nobody has come with him.
I'm not sure what's going on with Barba Gelada and Madalinas. I would like to make a little note here. I'm not sure what's going on between these two, but they've been kind of blocking each other and almost hitting each other underneath this caution flag.
Well, they are the 2 kids of the group. They're probably just kind of bored with the fact that we haven't run a green flag lap in 5 or so laps, with the 2 cautions happening the first lap by every time. So they like to mess around and mess about. If you ever run official races with them, just know that if you run back-to-back cautions, that they're going to sit there and push bumpers and door bang you a little bit. See Barb going up and messing with Hunter Brittle there. But yeah, Daniel Nanny pitting here is interesting. I'm not sure if maybe there's something tire-wise that I'm unaware of. Maybe they have 2 extra sets and Nanny just wanted to use 1 and see if he could drive his way back up through here. But he's going to reset 17th. And from what we've seen with people like Jacob Bransky and Brandon Barkowski, we don't want to have to drive back up through the field. So we'll see what Nanny can do from 17th. I guess the other question is, fuel-wise, well, if they all pit last time, the question is, can they make it from here? I've been told that the fuel range is about 40 laps. So if they pit last time, they should be essentially good if they saved here. And they did all come in on that last caution. So I guess we're pretty tight to the window, I'd assume, but he can definitely make it. So that is the other strategy. Maybe none of these guys can actually make it the rest of the way, because they have run 17 laps, and if you can run 40 and there's still 30 to go, yeah, they should all be short. They should all be short about 5-6 laps here. So
yeah, a lot of caution laps here though as well, so it's definitely going to help these drivers in the front's case, but I just still don't think that's going to be enough to make it to the finish. Because like you said, it's been around 17 laps since they had made their last pit stop for tires and fuel. So right now, someone like Daniel Nanny can make it to the finish. Looking at the last time these drivers had pitted, Daniel Nanny, he can probably make it to the finish. Gavin Fitzgerald, Eric Kep, Brandon Barkowski, they're all right on the line on making it to the finish. So this could become a fuel race if we go green the rest of the way, and drivers like Brandon Barkowski and Gavin Fitzgerald can possibly get decent finishes after the days they've had just because of fuel strategy.
The other quick note that we need to mention is Ross Brockman pitted about the same time as all those guys. He should also be good, and if we know anything about Ross Brockman, he has had the closest chances at wins due to fuel strategy and tire strategy. So no shock to see these guys try this out now with about 30-something laps left. It'll be very close, but I think a lot of these guys are also, I don't know, it might be a double-edged sword here because of the fact that they just had a couple back-to-back cautions. They might all think, oh, we're going to get another caution before the end of it. But remember, we went green for about the first whole stint. So there's a solid chance that this goes green until the end. And if that's the case, all these guys are in a lot of trouble. People like Ross Brockman and Daniel Nanny are looking real good right now.
Ross Brockman's going to be real close on that fuel. He came in 2 laps earlier than Eric Kep and others as the pace car comes down pit road. And RJ Williams going to lead him down to the green flag after Nanny came down pit road. And a fantastic restart from RJ Williams. He immediately just takes off, and Brittle's going to try to take the second spot away from Bransky.
I mean, with RJ's takeoff, I'm confused why Nanny ever took the outside lane. RJ just got shot out of a cannon. He's 10, 15 car lengths ahead before they even get off turn 2. Bransky's going to have to deal with Hunter Brittle.
Matt Daniels is around. The number 69, Daniel Nanny. Oh, no. This is why you can't go to the back.
His whole strategy just went up.
Went up in smoke like that engine. Oh, man. Daniel Nanny. That's a day ender. Oh, man, you hate to see it. Daniel Nanny, a big competitor for the win here tonight after a big accident coming down the back stretch. Oh, nowhere for him to go.
Top 3 truck all day. He's going to end up about 25th or so at the end of it. Frustrating night for Daniel Nanny. Just, wow. Not much you could say there. We'll have to get a replay up, but I mean, now they can all make it fuel-wise, so we'll probably see most of the field come down, but Nanny was looking pretty smart until unfortunately everybody decided that they were going to wreck one more time here. I can't tell if Hunter and Barber are going to stay out, though. They're running the top of the line. I don't think anybody's trying to pit. This is very interesting. Maybe everybody's just assuming that they're just going to run to the end. We're going to get the replay up, though, but nobody's pitting. So there's no sense in showing you that.
I've said it once, and I'll say it again here about the Great Lakes Series. These first half of the races seem to be very clean. Once we get to the second half, we get a caution the second half of the race, and cautions breed cautions. And here you got the replay of the accident on the screen. You see Matt Daniels in the middle lane, and some contact between himself and the number 69. It looked like on the outside of Colby Baker, and someone like Nanny just had nowhere to go, unfortunately, and Daniel Nanny's day is over because of that.
Couldn't tell if maybe we can get a shot on with Gavin, who was very close to that, somehow avoided it. Really shocked that he was able to, but he was right behind this whole situation, and it just looks like the 69 gets up the track. It looks like maybe some aero tight, something a little loose, chasing it, catches a wall right there. You can see it, and yeah, Gavin makes the quick ditch effort to get out of there because he could tell 69 was out of shape, and yeah, you know, Colby just looked like he got a little bit loose, and after you catch that wall, it is incredibly hard to try to angle where the truck's going to go. I mean, it's going to go hard left or whatever it wants to do, so hard to really make a decision there on Colby's end of what you want to do. I'm going to watch from Nanny's perspective now.
Daniel Nanny in the number 30 machine, see what he sees on his screen as his day goes up in smoke. Unfortunately, had one of the fastest machines all night. See him on the inside right here, and boom, just has nowhere to go, doesn't even see it coming. The 69 machine just comes all the way from the outside spinning.
Yeah, I mean, from his angle and field of view, I don't know that he ever even saw the 69 get that loose. To him, it probably just looked like he was going to wash up to the outside wall and be completely fine on corner exit, but unfortunately, 69 of Colby Baker just caught the wall ever so slightly. I mean, we saw it happen, Atlanta with the Cup Series between, I believe it was Nicholson and R.J. Williams. You know, you catch that wall and it'll shoot your car left or right depending on where your tires are turned and everything. So frustrating situation for someone like Daniel Nanny to be involved in, but nothing Colby really could have done with how his truck just kind of shot off the wall like that. And unfortunately, it'll end Daniel Nanny's day.
With all the saving of gas and everything, I'm wondering if these guys can make it to the finish.
They should. I don't know at this point. I mean, we have 30 to go, roughly. They've run 22 laps. That's a 52 lap run. I was told between 40 or so, whatever you want to make up of so. So I'm gonna assume 40 to 44. Let's be nice about it. I think four extra laps is quite nice. So that's 6 more laps than that. So I don't think that they're going to be able to stretch that kind of fuel. I'm not sure when you decide to pit. I think they're worried about the fact that when they do pit, they're not going to have tires left at that point. So if you pit with 30 to go and another yellow comes out with 10 to go, you know, you have a chance to pit there potentially. Because the other side of this is, I mean, look at Jake Miller. He has no engine in the truck and he's 15th. So if you pit, you're only going to drop back to about 14th, 15th. You can drive back up through the field relatively easily if you have fresh tires and no one else does. So there's a lot of things to kind of handle at this point with less than 30 laps to go, and I think they're a little bit out of their window. I think they're going to be a lot more confident when we reach this lap 100 mark. If we have a yellow very soon after this, I think you see RJ and those Spectrum guys and Hunter Brittle and Jacob Bransky and those guys start to look towards pit road. But I think this 25 to 30 range, I just think they're a little bit out of it. They're a little nervous about trying to run tires that long. I'm not sure where they are on their sets of tires left, because that's kind of the other strategy here. If Nanny took his last set with that many laps left, that's a scary thought. If all these guys have 1 set left, I wouldn't pit yet. If they have 2 sets left, I would have imagined they would have come in 5 laps ago just to be good on fuel. But if they've only got 1 set left, I wouldn't expect anyone to hit pit road until after lap 100.
Green flag racing this time by. It looks like RJ Williams has decided on the inside lane. Pace car is going to pull down pit road, and we're going to go green flag racing once again here after caution number 7. A little bit over 25 laps to go when we get the green flag. 27 laps to go here at Texas. And RJ Williams goes immediately, and he takes off like a rocket ship once again, and no one was ready for that. He's already almost a freaking second ahead coming out of the D Oval.
Bransky is getting frustrated. Look at him trying to go low on Brittle. Brittle wants to throw the block. Brittle knows he's fast. He does it. Bransky's going to have to back out. Hunter to the outside. He's going to clear Bransky. Barb's going to have some room. Bransky's not even clear of Barb. Bransky's going to lose so much ground here. Barb backs out of it, but here comes Shane. He blocks Ashton to turn 3. They're getting aggressive now at 25 to go. Shane's going to send it in on William Barbagelado. Ashton's going to have to back out of it. Everybody singles back out. We're back to normal. I can calm down. But RJ Williams has driven out to about a half a second lead in literally what's a half a lap. Bransky's just trying to get the toes back under him and get after Hunter Madalinas for third.
It's hard to do that with William Barbagelado all over your bumper. William Barbagelado was really threatening there. And here comes Madalinas. He's going to dive it into 3 and 4. He's going to try to take the second spot away from the number 10 of Hunter Brittle.
Barb is showing a lot of class here as we watch this battle with the 9 and the 10 for this second spot. Bransky's going to push Hunter. Hunter's going to have him cleared. Bransky's probably going to look to the inside. He will. Hunter's going to have to potentially give that up. Bransky lifts into the corner. Brittle's going to get a solid run through there now because of that shallow entry from Bransky. Barb is just showing a ton of class tonight. Barb is usually one of the really aggressive guys out there. He got to Bransky's bumper, did not send it in the corner, had to fend off an attack from Shane into turn 3, and just said, you know what, I'm here. I'm not going to try to ruin anything. I know you're faster than me. I'm just going to relax and run on this spot and follow you. And Bransky is now attacking Hunter Madalinas. He's going to do the same thing as he did last lap. Hunter's going to block him all the way down to the bottom. They're getting really aggressive for second, but meanwhile, RJ Williams is driving away.
I don't know if Hunter should do that one again, because like I said, you don't want to cage in a dog. Here comes Bransky. Bransky has so much speed. If once he gets past Madalinas, I think he's going to be able to catch up to RJ Williams at least a little bit. I don't know if he can drive him down, but he's trying to get past Bransky really bad.
He has a massive run once again. At this point, where do you go? Do you try the inside again? He's just going to push him off into the corner. Maybe try to get a run off into 3. I think he thinks that's his best chance. Meanwhile, Barb and Brittle making contact for that 4th spot. Barb knows he's fast. I think Brittle just wants to save a little bit more tire, but Barb's like, I'm trying to go. I want to get up there. I want to battle Bransky. Shane also the aggressor right there.
Oh, and Nicewanger looks like he might have gotten Barb a little bit in the... Oh, and Barb slams the wall off of 4. Look, there was a little bit of contact between Nicewanger and Barbagelata and put Barbagelata up into the fence. Lawson gets past him. Sensi gets past him.
I believe that was a little bit of aero tight, and the fact that Shane was right on Barb, it was just the bad situation for Barb, and the aero of that truck, it put him in the outside wall, and he's gonna have to deal with that for the rest of this race. Duclos sends it in on him into the corner. They almost make contact. There it is. Barb gets hit.
And Barbagelata is gonna spin it off the corner, and there's the caution. Mr. Excitement is around in the number 27 after the most eventful lap of his career. Wow.
That all went downhill when the aero war kind of happened off of turn 4 there.
This is really gonna make it interesting, I feel like, now, because now you got Bransky up there with Brittle and Hamadalinas and RJ once again. Now I think these guys are ready for RJ's restarts a little more now after that last one.
Well, the frustrating thing is Bransky's been here. He's been in this 3rd position essentially every restart, and he just can't do anything. He's been completely killed on all of these restarts. They have to pit here. If they don't, I've been told some very inaccurate information, and everybody should be good on fuel. Wow, Shane faked it. Ashton thought about it. Since he's gonna come, that was probably not the right fake from Shane. I think he probably should have pit there with everyone pitting behind him. But there's definitely some interesting strategies that we're gonna have to talk about with our top 3 finishers on what's going on with fuel, because we have the complete wrong information. Because I would have expected everyone to come in with 20 to go at this point. There's no way they're good on fuel, even with these cautions, to save upwards of 6, 7, 8 laps.
Driver I'm really watching then now is Michael Sensi. Michael Sensi's shown decent speed. He's had a top 10 truck all night. Getting fresh tires on this caution flag. Maybe he can drive through the field. A lot of guys came in behind him. I think he's going to come out in the 9th spot, Sensi. So he's not too far back. It's not too far of a reach to say Michael Sensi can get his 2nd win of the season tonight.
No, I mean, I think that this pit stop was the strategy. I think this is when you want to pit, and considering Sensi's going to come out still inside the top 10, what did he lose? He didn't lose much of anything. He's completely fine. And I know that that's probably the right strategy, because look at all the guys who came in with him. It's all the guys that were already good on fuel. What do they have to lose? They might as well come in, get the fresh tires. You've got Brockman, Kepf, the 86 of Brandon White, Gavin, like all these guys, Brandon Barkowski, who we haven't mentioned in a while, all these guys were good on fuel. They had no reason to pit this time. So them pitting here basically says that they know that they can make it from here. They're good on the strategy, and that's where they are. I'm just wondering if maybe some of these guys don't have tires left, or if there's some weird strategy in the back of their head that they're trying to play, because with 20 to go, I would have hit pit road there. I don't know why you wouldn't. 20 laps on tires is fine.
Duclos just pulled on to pit road, it looks like. Duclos, the number 97, pulled out of the 7th spot to, looks like, to get some tires. I think he saw how many drivers behind him got tires, and he knew that he was probably going to lose those spots. So he's going to take those tires. This is going to make it interesting, because since he's up to the 8th spot, you have Anderson Bowen in the 7th spot, who has fresher tires than the drivers in front of him, but he also has a little bit of damage. So I don't think he's going to be able to make up spots. But Sensi, Brockman, Eric Kepf, Brandon White in the number 86, he's kept himself fairly clean there too. They all have fresh tires, and they can possibly drive themselves through the field here and get themselves top 5s and maybe even compete for the victory.
We definitely have quite the interesting strategy going on, and I'm very interested to hear from this top 3 what their strategy calls are at this point. I really don't know where we are with tires and everything, because this This call not pitting has completely thrown me for a loop. I'm perplexed at this point. I genuinely would have expected most of the field to pit. I'm surprised that Shane even threw the fake. I think you just kind of come at this point. But this is where we are.
It's going to get very interesting here. If this race stays green to the end, I don't see these top 6 or possibly even 7 guys, including Anderson Bowen, staying in front of these guys that have taken the fresh tires. I just don't see it happening if we stay green here the rest of the way.
I think when you're as fast as RJ, Bransky, Hunter, and Brittle, I mean, you know, a lot of these guys in the top 5, top 6 have been up here all day. I think they think that they just have the speed over everybody else, but I'm just genuinely questioning if that's going to work out for 20 laps. I think you've got Sensi. He's only 8th. He's going to clear Shane and Ashton 2 laps into this run, and there's only a matter of time, 18 laps later, that he can go get RJ. So I know he hasn't had the speed to go and win this straight up, but 20, 30 lap fresher tires is a very big equalizer. So we'll see what happens, but really quick shout out to Michael Levine back here. We don't talk about him very much in this series, but he is sitting here 20th with ultimately a very hurt truck, and he's just kept it on track. He's now sitting 7 laps down, but has just stayed out here and has made it past the Daniel Nanny, Colby Baker incident, Matthew Durr, Sam Hoff, Justin Mons, all these guys that have been caught up in other stuff. You know, Michael was about 28th, 30th. He's going to finish this one out with the top 20 truck, so kudos to him for sticking with it and seeing how far that'll get him.
Great job by Levine sticking it out and getting that finish, as we're going to get the green flag, and RJ immediately jumps, and Hunter's going to jump up immediately and get in front of Brittle. And RJ once again is off to the races.
I don't really know what that move was. I'm guessing there was no team call out there. RJ and Hunter, I believe, share the same team channel and everything, and Hunter jumping on the outside. Not sure if that was wheel spin or him just wanting to block Brittle there. Shane to the inside of Brittle. Again, Shane's been fast. Can he push his way into this top 4 and really become a contender here? The guy we're not talking about, the guy with fresher tires, Sensi, Brockman, Eric, these guys, they did not get a good start. Maybe the fresh tires are that slow at the beginning because they're so loose and you have to handle them. Look at the top 6 have driven away, and those guys are about a second behind, and they're going to have a lot of catching up to do as this run goes on.
RJ Williams has that gap from the restart, but he hasn't driven away very much ever since. Madalinas has kept that gap around the same, but he has Bransky right behind him, putting pressure on him. I know Bransky wants to get past Madalinas as quick as he can, as Bransky knows he has a great shot to get to RJ, but don't count out Nicewanger either, as he's trying to get underneath Bransky going into 1. Bransky's going to shut the door on Shane.
Shane is absolutely one of your very quiet, aggressive guys. He will be on your bumper all race long, and he's going to stick there. If he can finish this out in the top 5, that's a solid run for him. Remember, he did not have a good start to this season. He needs to just rack up these top 5s like he did last week and just kind of finish this out and try to squeak into those playoffs. The more solid finishes he has, the better off he is. He's in a good spot right now to just keep going. He doesn't need to force anything. Bransky, on the other hand, here for nothing else but a win. He's a cup driver. None of this matters to him. He wants to get around that 9 and go catch his other cup rival, RJ Williams, up there leading this race.
Bransky falling a little bit farther back from Madalinas, as Madalinas is trying to charge down RJ Williams. And check the times at the line and see if maybe he's making up a little bit of time, as we have just over 10 laps to go. We're going to check the times at the line real quick. We got RJ Williams coming across the line right now. We got a 30.5. Madalinas is a 30.586, a little slower. And then Bransky's around the same time, but Nicewanger is quicker than all 3 of them that last time by.
Sensi caught the wall last time. Basically, Brockman and Kep for your 2 guys on fresh tires. Don't count out the 42 of Brandon Barkowski, though. I believe he's gotten as much of that damage repaired as possible. He's starting to track these guys down and running very competitive lap times compared to your leaders with these fresher tires. So these guys back here about 7th, 8th, 9th. We see Eric and Brockman together all the time on every race. They're gonna be contenders by the time this one's over. There's still a little over 10 to go here.
Those drivers driving around 2 to 3 tenths quicker than our race leaders right now, so they're definitely making up some time. The question is, do they have enough time to make past some of these drivers and get up to RJ Williams, as you see them still battling pretty heavy back here. You see Brandon White and the number 86 and the number 14 of Gavin Fitzgerald battling right here.
Sensing the wall again off of turn 4, I believe. If not, he got very, very close to it.
Sensi just pushing it a little too hard on this last run, knowing he has those fresh tires, knowing he has a shot at possibly even winning the race, and just driving a little too hard, I feel like, in the number 92 machine as he continues to fall back after hitting the wall once again.
Brandon had to give a lot in 1 and 2. He had a huge run on Eric, who got very loose right behind Ross. Brandon's going to feel the arrow right here, though, off of turn 4 and get a little bit tight. He just can't quite get to Eric. You can see these guys visibly closing down on Ashton Lawson and Hunter Brittle. Can they make up enough ground? We're under 10 to go now with 10 to go. Can they make up enough ground, clear these guys, and get up there towards RJ? Remember, RJ in those top 6, 41 laps into this run. So how much can that fuel last? How much did those 3 or 4 cautions actually benefit them? Did they save enough? Can they run these 10 laps out? Are they going to run out of fuel? Time will tell. Brockman to the back of Ashton Lawson now, who's still battling Hunter Brittle. They're going to be on top of each other here going into turn 1.
Some great battles right here around the 5th spot. You see Hunter Brittle and Ashton Lawson continue to battle it out for that
Brittle's
5th
gonna
spot.
wash up.
Brockman. Here comes Brockman on the inside, 52, and they're going to make contact. And Ross is going to try to hang on to it, and will he hang on to it? He does. What a save from Ross Brockman. But that is a race killer right there, as he had a huge run.
One guy who didn't live through that, Mr. Jeff Gordon. Brandon Barkowski drove around both Eric Kempf and Ross Brockman through that. He's going to be able to go up and potentially battle Hunter Brittle and Ashton Lawson. That's going to, I mean, he's going to have a shot at a top 5 for a guy that was sideways, backwards across the start-finish line 20 or 30 laps ago. Brittle tight off of turn 2 again. He's going to get stuck behind Michael Levine. They're going to try to go 3. Brandon's going to squeeze him. They're going to make it through, and Brandon around Hunter Brittle into turn 3.
Brandon Barkowski continues to make up spots out of the drivers that have taken tires. He's the farthest up through the field right now. Does he have enough time?
Side by side with Jacob Bransky. Bransky has finally gotten it done. It has taken him what feels like 100 laps to get around Hunter Madalinas, who just consistently blocked to the inside. Hunter's going to get the run off turn 2 now. Let's see if Bransky has to throw a block into turn 3. He doesn't. Hunter's going to back off just enough. Bransky going to go after RJ now. Closing in on 5 laps to go, though. Does he have the time?
6 laps to go this time by. RJ Williams is your race leader. He's up by around 1 second right now over Jacob Bransky. Jacob Bransky cut into that lead by almost a tenth that last time by. Can he continue to cut into that lead and possibly get up to RJ Williams and compete for this victory? In-car, Jacob Bransky, very focused. Jacob Bransky trying to get himself up to RJ Williams and get himself a victory here today in the Truck Series. He is not a Truck Series regular. He's a Cup Series driver looking to get the win here tonight. You see Burkusky battling it out with Ashton Lawson. They've been going back and forth these last 2 or 3 laps. And Barkowski's going to try to clear him off the corner this time, and he will. Eric Kemp right there behind him.
Eric's making a late race charge here. He's really quick with Barkowski. I'm not sure if maybe Barkowski's damage is hurting him, or Eric has just found some late race speed. He hasn't really had the speed Barkowski's had all night, but here he is. He really wants that spot over Brandon. Brandon's going to throw the block, as you see down the front stretch. Shades of Lewis Woodall and Brandon Barkowski. Eric's just going to kind of lay back and be smart. We know Eric's very tactical. He's not going to force it. That's why Brandon has no fear going with that block. Eric gets a run off turn 2, though. Let's see if he goes. Brandon blocks him all the way to the bottom. Eric going to send it into turn 3. They're side by side into 3 and 4.
There's some great racing for the 5th spot. Can Eric Kemp possibly complete the pass? Eric Kemp's going to have the run off the corner, but Barkowski's going to try to side draft him through the tri-oval. He's still on his high side going into 1 and 2. Brandon Burkusky in the number 42 machine. Kemp slides up a little bit, and that'll mess up Barkowski, and Barkowski will now fall in behind the 63 machine.
Brockman making a run back. You see Nanny slow car on the bottom, just trying to gain some extra spots potentially. Brockman clears Ashton Lawson, who also is on old tires and going to drop back. Brockman going to try to go after Brandon Barkowski, who seems to be fading right here between him and Eric Kemp. Eric solidly in the top 5. Shane running 4th. Hunter Madalina's 3rd. Bransky is not catching RJ. RJ still your leader.
R.J. Williams looking to get the job done here in the Truck Series after dominating the Cup Series here the other night. Can he make it around to the white flag, though? Will we get the white flag, or will we get a caution beforehand? That is the big question.
We need to get the white flag because looking at the session, there are very much no time left in this, or actually, nope, sorry, I was looking at the TV scoring. We're just going to ignore that. Brandon actually loses a spot to Ross Brockman there. Brandon is fading. It looks like Duclos, I believe, is right behind him, may get a shot at him for 7th as Brockman clears him for 6th.
Bransky trying to get everything he can out of that truck. He saw it on his screen. He makes a big save off the corner. But R.J. Williams, he loves Texas, the Lone Star State. And he's the king in Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas. And R.J. Williams once again gets it done. After dominating the Cup, now he wins the trucks. R.J. Williams. What else can I say about the guy? Got his ass-kicking boots on again once again today, it looks like.
Yeah, the reason I went a little bit weird there was I was showing 30 seconds left in the session right before we took the white. And then I looked and I saw that we were an hour and 38 minutes in, so I'm not really sure what I was looking at. I couldn't tell if there was actually 30 seconds left, but right in the nick of time, we get that race in. And yeah, RJ with the week sweep in the Great Lakes Series. Very solid job, and it looks like he's the king of whichever format you want to look at Texas. He gets it done both ways. Bransky coming up short. I think he wishes he had some extra laps there, at least could get around Hunter Madalinas anytime sooner. But how about shout out to drivers like Eric Kepf, Ross Brockman, Brandon Barkowski for just never giving up, all coming home solidly in the top 10 after either coming off issues or dealing with some issues throughout the race of off strategy sequences and different tire strategies and stuff like that. Solid effort for those guys to come back with top 10s.
I've said it about Eric Kepf multiple times. He is such a smart race car driver and always finds himself to be there at the end. We're going to try to maybe get you some interviews possibly in a few moments with our top 3 drivers. Going to give you a quick top 10 rundown through our finishing order. RJ Williams, you see doing the burnouts on the front stretch. He's really burning it down. RJ Williams, your winner. Bransky comes home second. Madalina's third. Niswanger and Eric Kepf run out your top 5. You got Brockman there, Barkowski, a good points day for Duclos. Brandon White, didn't talk about him all day. Great job on the top 10, Brandon White, 9th place. Lawson rounds out your top 10. Going to the next board, you see Hunter Brittle getting in the 11th finishing position. Your points, your second place in points coming into today. Sensi and Fitzgerald finishing 12th and 13th. Miller back there in 15th. You got William Barbagelata in 16th. Matt Daniels back in 18th after his issues in Levine, able to come back for a 20th place finish. Under the next board, you got Daniel Nanny, unfortunately coming home 21st after such a great race. Unfortunately, going to come home in the 21st position. Colby Baker after his incident in the 22nd spot. Matthew Durr after his ride coming home 24th. You got Samuel Hoff back there. Justin Mons, Aiden DuPont rounding out your top 30. And then the remainder of your field, you got DJ Stagner, Peter Accumano, you got Tyler back there. Jackson Hartman had a lot of speed, ended up coming home 34th after leaving early. And then Will Richard, a.k.a. Tony Hawk Pro Skater, comes home 35th. What a race, Elliot.
Yeah, we had we had more than enough action towards the end to talk about. Kudos to RJ for getting it done. But, man, you really got to be impressed with someone like Hunter Madalinas. Imagine if we didn't have any Cup guys here today. He'd be winning number 5. So, a lot of guys have given a little bit of flack for the 2 wins that he has on the ovals, but he proves week in and week out that he's up here with these guys, holding off Bransky for as long as he did. I definitely think he's going to be a force to come back and get, that most wins in a single season stat that's still being held by yours truly. It's only 6, and he's at 4, and he's got plenty more chances to get it done, and tonight was a good showing for him to potentially get 6 or 7 in a single season.
Hunter Madalinas, I said it earlier in the race, Hunter Madalinas didn't necessarily have the fastest car, but just the way he sets up strategy and gets himself in track position for some of these races, just puts himself in a great position to win races, even if he's not necessarily the fastest guy. And a great finish from him tonight, getting that third place finish. But we're going to try to get you some interviews from our top 3 guys. I think we're going to start off with Hunter Madalinas. Hunter, Kyle Short in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Hunter, fantastic race out there. I'd like to commend you, first of all, on your top 3 finish. Once again, getting it done out here in the trucks. How did you feel in those last couple of laps? Were you maybe hoping for another caution to have another shot at it?
No, I don't think I had anything for RJ or Sensi. They were just, maybe Sensi was a little bit like not as good on the short run, but I felt like I was a little bit better on the long run, I was better on the short run. He was better on the long run, but RJ was untouchable. I mean, he was pulling away without the draft, and I mean, he was on the next level. I mean, Nanny, if he didn't make that bad strategy call, probably could have had a shot at it. But yeah, it was hard racing all day. I mean, that track is a hard track to pass at, and I had really a lot of fun trying to work my way up.
Yeah, definitely some hard racing going on there, but earlier on in the race, you were caught up around maybe 10th spot, maybe around between 7th and 10th spot, good amount of the race when we were doing those long green flag runs. What was going through your mind maybe during those long green flag runs?
Yeah, I kind of was, I was looking back to a couple, or that last week at Charlotte. I didn't want to kind of stay out as long as like what we were doing at Charlotte, which was pretty much running it out. I kind of wanted to pit a little bit early because obviously those strategy calls all changed. But we kind of got the cautions like right when fuel runs happened. The first caution on that long run, I was about to get on the brakes to come down pit road, but luckily the caution came out, so I was able to cycle out as a leader, get a lap lead. But I felt like getting in front of a lot of cars was important. The track position was just so key. It's so hard to pass that you either have to defend or really drive it into the corner, and really you just lose an exit. So it was all in all really hard to pass.
Yeah, it was a great battle, but once again, you're able to find your way here in the broadcast booth for an interview there in the top 3. You're having a great season when it comes to the point standings, and when it comes to the wins. You come into this race as the points leader, and you'll leave the points leader. Are you looking forward to next week at New Hampshire?
I mean, I can't be too mad. I mean, I can't say I liked these past 2 races, but I've said coming up to them, I've actually enjoyed them while racing them. So hopefully I'll keep an open book for that one and hopefully have some fun there. But hope I'll be able to hold my points lead or even gain more like I did tonight.
Great job, Hunter. Is there anybody you have to thank for your performance here tonight?
Yeah, gotta thank y'all for broadcasting these great races. I know it takes some dedication to do all this, but also GLTS and everything they've all done for me, and obviously the family.
Well, we appreciate you, Hunter, and we hope to have you in the booth once again next week after Loudon. Once again, congratulations on your 3rd place finish, and have a great night, man.
Thank you. You too.
Of course. And that was Hunter Madalinas, our 3rd place finisher. And I think I'm going to send it over to Elliot Henderson, a.k.a. Mr. Bobby Carter, for our interview with 2nd place finisher Jacob Bransky.
Yeah, we got Jacob Bransky in the booth with us. Wow. Talk about how much that initial caution really just messed with your entire strategy, and how the whole second half of your race was kind of you just coming back from that issue and trying to get around Hunter towards the end of it.
Yeah, so at the beginning of the race, I pit and there was a caution when I was still a lap down, so that was a lot of work to try and get back up there. And then once we got back up there, it was kind of a plan to just try and work with Hunter so we wouldn't lose RJ. But then we ended up getting a little too far back, and there wasn't really enough laps left for me to have a good shot at him.
Do you feel like maybe if you had another chance at him, you would have gotten him, or do you think that he just kind of had something that you guys didn't have for the night?
I feel like he was definitely really fast. I think earlier on in the race, it was pretty close between me and him. So, I would have obviously loved another shot at him. And, I think it'd be definitely closer than what it was.
So what gets it done for you? Who do you have to thank for tonight?
Just want to thank you guys and the league owners for putting on a great show for us, and then thank my sponsors, Mountain Dew and Hippies Chippies, and yeah.
Bransky, we look forward to seeing you this week at Homestead in the Cup Series, and hoping to finish that season out strong and see you in more of these truck races as it continues on through its 22 race stretch. We're halfway through it now, so hopefully we'll see you in a few more.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, that is Jacob Bransky. I'm going to go back over to Kyle, who should have race winner RJ Williams.
RJ Williams, Kyle Short up in the booth. You got me?
There, Kyle. What's going on?
RJ, you did it once again. You come up with the week sweep. You were talking about how you had the ass kicking boots the other night. Once again, you get it done here in Texas. How do you feel?
Well, I wore them again tonight, and they paid off. So I don't think I'm ever going to watch these things like Christopher Heller suggested. So hell no, I ain't going to watch these damn things. They're staying just as they are. We're 2 for 2 at Texas. That's good. This is a fun race. I'm not quite sure on Nanny's pit call there towards the end, but hey, that was his decision. Unfortunately, he got back there in the mess. But all in all, I just made sure I kept it turning. Anytime I got a little free on me, I just made sure I breathed it just a little bit, make sure I kept that ass in underneath me. But other than that, just try to keep tires on it. Good run for Hunter. Jacob finally got his way back up there, so I'm glad to see that he clawed all the way back up there, tried to give me a little run for my money there at the end. But I think if we stayed green, for that whole last part where we kept on getting those cautions, I think I would have had something for Nanny and probably would have pulled away. But all in all, good run. Good run for Spectrum. 1-2, which is great. Got to thank Eric for putting on the league, as well as being team owner at Spectrum along with myself. It looks like we got a good group of guys, and I enjoy running with them.
Fantastic race, RJ. What was maybe going through your mind when we had that pit cycle and we had the caution in the middle of that pit cycle early on in the race, which really kind of sent this whole race to madness from that point on?
Well, I got pretty damn lucky on that. I was on pit road and they were changing the left sides when the caution came out. So when I rolled back out, nobody had came back around to take the lead from me. I pitted in the lead and nobody had came back around fast enough to get me before I got back out on the racetrack when the caution came out. So when everything cycled through, cycled right back to the lead. So I got pretty lucky there. And then, that really shook up that whole top 10, especially those guys I was racing with at the beginning of the race. It was totally different there when that caution restarted, and that was pretty much the group that was behind me the rest of the race. But, like I said, I just got lucky. I'm not quite sure why Eric pit. I don't know if he didn't take tires or what there coming down pit road that second caution. But I wish he would have stayed out. That kind of would have gotten us a better start, and I probably wouldn't have to dealt with Nanny as long as I did. But he took care of himself there on that one of those cautions.
Kyle, if you don't mind, how much fuel did you have left there, RJ? Because we were told about 40 laps. You guys stretched it, about 50-ish? So how much fuel did you guys really have? How much were you saving between all those breaks and all those cautions?
The first 2 cautions, before the rash, we got that one, and then we got the second one. Well, that second one I started to save, started to clutch it and turn it off and stuff and roll around. When I was rolling down the back straightaway, Chad Canals came on and told me that we're going to pit in a lap. So that made me look down at my fuel to make sure I had enough to make it there. And I had 2.8 laps left. So luckily, I made a good decision with that. No matter what, I was going to stay out there. That caution with 20 to go, I was really biting my nails. I'm not quite sure, what to do there, but I think staying out was the right call. Enough of them stayed out with me, so that really helped out, especially those on freshies. I'm not sure who the first guy on freshies where he finished, but all that matters is the ass-kicking boots made it victory lane again.
It was definitely a great performance from you, RJ, out there in the trucks. Should we expect you to see you in some more of these truck races upcoming?
Well, I'm limited to 6, so I picked the one, I think I'd have fun with. And Texas, I'm not a big fan of this layout, but it's still pretty much, you got to make a turn in 1 and 2. 3 and 4, I'm still not a fan of it. I mean, it's pretty much them wide open. Just hold on tight and hope you don't spin out. But and hit the bumps. Don't hit the bumps either. But other than that, I heard New Hampshire's next week. Hopefully we have a setup that we won't be shifting with. And if that's the case, then I'll be more than happy to make my appearance next week at New Hampshire. That's a great place. Really short tracky kind of feel. I love me some short tracks, so I'd definitely be there for not shifting.
Well, we appreciate the interview, RJ. Anybody you gotta thank before we send you out?
Well, I appreciate Eric for doing such a good job here with the truck series. He does a great job every week. You guys for putting on a hell of a broadcast. Y'all do such a great job. All the admins there at GLR, y'all are great. We work well together. I really appreciate y'all. Everybody in the league, y'all did great tonight. Y'all should be proud of yourselves. Even if we did have that rash, Eric seemed to be pretty sure of what was going on there. Of course, the academy. We are a super late model coaching program. So if you want to get better at racing, maybe even gain the skills to win you a GLR race, come to see us at academyta.com. That's academyta.com. Tell them I sent you.
Well, we appreciate it, RJ. It's always wonderful speaking with you, and we hope to see you, kick ass, I guess, at Homestead.
I'll
See
have
you Tuesday.
I'll have them damn boots on. You best believe it.
Can't wait, RJ. Great job. Have a great night, man. Go out there and celebrate.
See y'all.
That was RJ Williams, our winner of the week I was about to say weekend sweep, but week sweep here in the Great Lakes Series here at Legacy Texas and regular Texas for the Cup Series and the Truck Series. Elliot, any last thoughts before we go out?
Just an unbelievable showing that RJ was able to put on, and looking forward to seeing him come back at New Hampshire and potentially do the same thing. But again, looking back towards our regular guys here, Hunter Madalinas with a really good drive tonight. Shane Neiswanger coming home in fourth. Eric Kep for the 5th place finish. All just really solid efforts for those guys trying to get in for this championship, trying to make these playoffs. So definitely an exciting night of racing, and looking forward to seeing what we have coming up next week with New Hampshire, and obviously the beginning of the next Cup season as well.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Thursday, we have the season finale for the Great Lakes Cup Series presented by Butt Kicker. There's a pretty big battle between second and 7th position for points. So it should be a lot of fun there. And then I think here on the Flatout Racing Network tomorrow, we have the Dark Horse Racing Series. I'm pretty sure a Canadian Tire. So that should be a lot of fun. So check them out as well. But we will see you next week for the Trucks in New Hampshire. I actually won't be part of that broadcast. I'll be making my Great Lakes debut in the number 0 machine. So that should be a lot of fun. I'm pretty sure you might have Elliot in the booth with somebody else. Not sure who will be in the booth for you next week, but we will see you either next week for the Truck Series or for the Cup Series on Thursday at Homestead. Have a great night, y'all, and thank you all for tuning in.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of Flatout Racing Network and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of Flatout Racing Network and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations. Flatout Racing Network would like to thank you for your support, and we